This is CHSTV News.
Good morning, Cathedral. I'm Romeo with your morning announcements for Tuesday, September the 28th. Let's start off the show with a message from Mr. Daly.
Okay, good morning, Cathedral. Before I get to my items today, what I want to do, as I mentioned in my prayer, is introduce to you Mr. Nathan Muir, who I'm sure our returning students know for sure. New students and maybe new staff may not be aware of Mr. Muir. We are, as I mentioned in the prayer preamble, very, very blessed to have Nathan Muir here as a staff support worker for our Indigenous students, and his title is the Indigenous Youth Advisor for the Nyaway program at Cathedral. It's a really, really important program for us at school, and he does a fabulous job. And with the Week of Truth and Reconciliation in play, I hope you'll give him your full attention as he shares some thoughts.
Good morning, Cathedral. For those of you who do not already know me, my name is Nathan Muir, and I am the Indigenous Youth Advisor for the Nyaway program here at Cathedral. This week, we turn our minds towards truth and reconciliation. I wish to share with you a short reflection, something that affects us one and all. That is our families. Many of us are lucky to have both parents in our lives, have loving siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. Some of us, maybe this is not the case, and for those of you who follow this truth, I wish to share that you are not alone. Throughout Canada's history, Indigenous families have been broken up for the sake of assimilation. Through the residential schools, 60 Scoop, and many other incidents, Indigenous children have lost their families, their culture, and their spirits. Among Indigenous families, we share a deep bond, deeper than one would expect. We consider all of our family closer than they really are. Aunties become mums, uncles become dads, cousins become brothers and sisters, and so on and so forth. It takes a village to raise a child, and Indigenous people took this as literal truth. We, here at Cathedral, consider this building to be our home away from home. Its staff and students should be our family away from family. Together as a big blue family, let us reflect on the true history of this land and move forward together to right the wrongs of the past and build a better future. Nyawa, miigwech, thank you. Passing it back over to Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Muir. And again, students and staff, I hope you'll pay very close attention and give this week the attention that it deserves. And again, we are so blessed at this school in so many ways. And the Nyaway program is just another example of that. Okay, everybody, now listen, I got a few items for you, and I'm gonna need your attention. I know people in, the good people in the news crew here can at times find my little speeches a little long and perhaps somewhat monotonous, but I am asking for your attention today, students and staff. Now, first of all, there are some traffic problems we know out there in the community for students and staff. So students, if you're in a class and your staff teacher hasn't arrived yet, please be patient with that, and I think we'll be a little more patient with students who don't make it to school on time. Okay, one thing that I've observed as we approach the end of our first month back in school with more than 1,000 students here each day is that some of our culture and traditions that I think we had established in such a positive manner before the pandemic hit in March of 2020, I think some of them have been lost, and I actually don't really blame the students for that. Because really, our grade 9 students are brand new to high school. They don't know how we do things at Cathedral. And frankly, our grade 10 students had so much disruption last year that in a sense, they feel almost like new students like the grade 9s. And again, even the grade 11s, I was reminded by some of my students, have had great disruptions to their school. So I want to remind students of a few of the ground rules that we have at Cathedral. Now, I don't, and the VPs don't, and all the adults in this building, we don't wake up in the morning and say, let's make some rules so we can boss around the teenagers needlessly to make ourselves feel better. Okay, that is not the purpose of all the rules we have here at Cathedral, and I want to remind you of that. The great thing about this school, one of the many, is that it is not adults versus students. This is not a constant conflict and war between the adults in the building and the students, where the students fight against the adults and the adults fight against the students. That's not how we do business here. We all have the same goals. We want our students to be successful. You want to be successful. We want you safe and secure in every way, whether it's health, whether it's violence. You want the same. You want to be treated with respect and treated properly by your peers and the adults in the building. We want the same. So we all share the same goals. And I go to very great lengths to bring in staff members who agree with that purpose that we have here at Cathedral. And it's been this way for more than 100 years at this school. But I have to remind students of some of the ground rules, okay? And again, I appreciate your patience. Now, first of all, some students aren't aware of this, but the administration in this school, when I say that, I mean the 3 VPs and myself, and boy, are we blessed to have 3 great VPs. We can search you. I'm kind of starting at the most serious stuff and working my way down to the less serious things. Now, one thing you need to know is in the school community, the VPs and principal may search you at any time. And we don't need to tell you exactly why we are checking you. It could be random. It could be because we have information. What are we looking for? We're looking for things like weapons. We're looking for things like drugs, neither of which should ever be in this school building. So sometimes students say, well, you can't look in my bag. Oh, yes, we can. Okay, the rules that apply to VPs and principals in a school are not the rules that apply to police when you're walking down the street or driving your car. There is more leniency given to administrators to keep schools safe. So both the government and the way the Education Act is written, it gives us that ability. So I want to remind students, and I know I'm talking to very few of you, but you can never have anything in this building which is a knife or any kind of weapon, anything that could be used as a weapon. That cannot be on your person or in your bag. You cannot have any drugs or drug paraphernalia on you or on your person or in your bag at any time in this school. And you are, you have the ability to be searched at any time. We have searched many students over the last 2 weeks, and we will continue to do so in an effort to keep this school safe. The other thing is this: when you're in the hallway and you're addressed by an adult, there are 3 rules which you have to follow. You have no choice about these things, okay? You must give your name to an adult who asks for it. Okay, so if someone looks at you and knows you're a student and says, and you're, having some sort of conflict or something's going on, and they say, what's your name? You have to give your name. You are not permitted to not give your name. Okay, the second thing is when you're directed to go to the main office or attendance office by an adult staff member, you must go. You must go. And the third thing that is kind of obvious is you're never permitted to provide fake notes or fake phone calls for an absence or to lie to the school administration. Now, why do we have these 3 rules? Because we need to keep the building safe and secure. We cannot function as a high school with 1,000 students and about 125 adults if those 3 things are not followed. We can't have our students lying to us about their absences. Students have to provide their name when we ask, and they have to go to the office when directed. Now, I can tell you that the 3 vice principals and myself, and frankly, I'm in charge of this whole business. I will always listen to you if you feel you were mistreated. Sometimes students, they get in a corner and they think, now I'm in trouble, I'm not giving my name. Well, if you don't give your name, you're getting suspended for that. And what I'm trying to say is, whether you're in Mr. John's office, Ms. McCabe's office, or Ms. Defendant Ionico's office, or you can come to me, you will be treated fairly, you will be listened to. Okay? But you never have the option not to give your name. You never have the option to say, I'm not going down to the office. And if you choose to do that, you're choosing a suspension. Okay? We can't function as a school with that not being the ground rules. Okay? Now, a reminder that at dismissal and at lunch, there should be no gathering in the hallways. So at lunchtime, you have a choice. Grade 9s can go to their next class and remain in that classroom. Okay? All the other grades, upon your lunch, your choice is to either, and then the 9s, the other rules apply. So you either go to the next classroom if you're a 9. If you're in grade 10 or 11, you can stay in the classroom you're in. Or you can go outside. But congregating in the hallway, congregating in the forum, congregating in any school area is not permitted. And we strongly encourage you to go outside, okay? Because the fresh air is the safest place you can be. I think it's good for you to get out and walk around. So just a reminder that there's no congregation in the hall, and that goes for dismissal as well. So we should not see big groups of students. Even as I was driving off the property yesterday, we still had big groups of students in very tight quarters with each other on the corner. Try to disperse. I know you're happy to be around your friends, but try to disperse and keep spacing and go somewhere else besides clumping in a group of 50 on, the corner of Wentworth and Wilson, okay? So we appreciate that. Indoor games, we have our boys volleyball and our girls basketball teams playing. We wish all those teams good luck tonight. I think they're playing Cardinal Newman. The girls are at Newman and the boys are here. We are not permitted to have indoor fans at those games. So now sometimes I know students are sticking around because I know there's some like late night workouts in the gym, but you are not permitted to be in the game at all. It is 2 tickets per player, and those tickets have to be reserved in advance, and otherwise you cannot be in the game. Now again, I'm the number one person wanting fans at our games, wanting more fans at our football games and field hockey games, but as the rules stand now, that's the rule. So you cannot stick around to watch games inside. Now Mr. Susie spoke to me last night, and what a good man he is, one of the many great adults in this building, and he's asking me like, what's going on with the Spirit Day, sir? We need a Spirit Day. Now I actually am not overall pleased with the compliance of our student body when it comes to the uniform and when it comes to lates. Okay, and again, I think this is because we were pretty lax on these rules when we were in the pandemic, 15 kids per class. I know I'm talking a long time today, but I'm asking you to please pay attention. We were like so glad kids were coming in. We knew it was a difficult thing to sit in a class for 5 hours last year. Many students chose to learn virtually, so we weren't really cracking down to the extent we normally would on uniform and lateness. But I addressed lateness last week. I'm addressing uniform now. So we would like to have Spirit Days once a week. We used to have them on Wednesdays, but I'm not about to approve that until I see better compliance from the students. And I can tell you yesterday, I ran into a student in sweatpants, tells me his pants are in the dryer. Like even the fact that he thought he could say that to me shows that our culture's a little off, okay? I had another student come to my office earlier this week and say, sir, my shirt, left it at home, I forgot it. Can you get me a shirt? And I was like, no. Okay, if you can't get in uniform and come to this school, frankly, you can choose a school in this neighborhood that doesn't have a uniform. Why do we have a uniform? Why do we have a uniform? We have a uniform for a multiple of reasons. One is safety and security. Now, if you watch the news and you know, students, what's been going on in this neighborhood lately, okay, we need to know that the people in this building are our students. And frankly, we don't know you that well, especially our grades 9, 10s, and 11s, because you've been in masks for 3 years and you've been out of school a lot. So we're not super familiar. We can't look at every single kid and recognize, yep, that's I've known that kid, he's been at school, or that girl's been here for a long time. So we need you to be in uniform for safety and security. It's a great source of community pride, the fact that we all wear the same, blue and white, the school colors we've had for over 100 years here. And the other thing is that maybe something you don't think about, but every student, no matter where they are on the economic spectrum, whether you've got money for a different shirt every day or you've got money for 2 shirts, this equalizes all of us. And it's a great thing in this school. And I'll say it again, if you can't get yourself in uniform and get to school in uniform, then by all means, go to a school that doesn't have it. You do not need to come here. I think that would be a big mistake, okay? Now, I know we're having trouble with supply at Bombardieri, so we're working through that. The other thing I want to address is the kilt. The kilt, there's specific rules that go with the kilt. If you choose to wear a kilt, you have to have tights that are opaque, that are not see-through, are not sheer. So the tights have to be plain black and not see-through. You cannot wear like low-cut socks. And the other thing is you must wear plain black flat dress shoes. So you can't wear heels, you can't wear boots, and you can't wear running shoes. I don't think every female who's wearing the kilt even knew those were the rules, but those are the rules. Those have been the rules since the school opened in 1912. They're not about to change this year, okay? So if you don't like the rules for the kilt, by all means, wear pants. Like, you have that option as well, okay? And again, I actually think this student body can do better on lateness and uniform. And I'm hoping that over the next several days, we can see some improvement, and then maybe we can start doing some Spirit Days starting next Wednesday. And again, I have to say, like, things have happened to me in the last 2 weeks that haven't happened to me in 4 years at this school. I had someone lie to a teacher and say, oh, Mr. Daly said I could wear these pants. It was a straight lie. That doesn't happen normally. Students know not to do that. Okay, I had a student drag his body against our new Hall of Fame wall, and then when I reacted to it, he lipped me back like, it was an accident, sir, give me a break. I was like, what? It wasn't an accident that you dragged your body against that wall. That's an accident as I bumped into you because I was looking down at my phone. And I also had a student tell me, a grade 9 student, when I reminded her about the kilt, she said, well, that's stupid. Okay, well, those are things that I'm not used to here at school. So I'm trying to remind our students there's a culture of respect here. The rules are reasonable, and I'll tell you who's very reasonable are the adults here. So we have a culture of over 100 years in this school of excellence. Okay, we have high expectations for you. That's good. That's good for you. It's good for our school. I'm not going to sit here and say teenagers these days can't follow the rules. It's not true. The students in this school are as good as the students have ever been in this school. I say that all the time. People who say, oh, kids these days are not like when I was younger, that's baloney. It's fantastic how great the kids are these days. And I expect you to follow the rules with pride in this school, and I expect you to treasure the God-given gift that you have of your own talents and gifts, but the ability to live in this great country and to go to this great school. So if you even paid attention to half of that, I salute you. Okay, thank you, everybody. I hope I don't have to do a long tirade like this on another day, but I hope you'll think closely about the things I'm trying to say, and I know that our great staff will reinforce the messages I'm trying to send. And with that, I'm glad the camera woman is not here rolling her eyes at me, but I will pass it back to Romeo.
Thanks, sir. This Thursday, you are encouraged to wear an orange shirt, as September 30th marks the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. The day honors the lost children and survivors of residential schools, their families, and communities. Public commemoration of the tragic and painful history of ongoing impacts of residential schools is a vital component of the reconciliation process. So please wear an orange shirt with your uniform bottoms this Thursday. Also on Thursday, we are having our first school-wide virtual liturgy, beginning at 9 a.m. with Father Yerrick. Grade 12 students are reminded that McMaster University is holding a virtual information meeting today at 1:45 p.m. Students can find the Zoom link on the Grade 12 LMS page. Students should ask their teacher if they can join the 1-hour Zoom meeting as it begins during class time. Senior boys basketball tryouts continue on Thursday at 7 p.m. and next Monday, October 4th at 7 p.m. These are the last 2 tryouts for the senior boys basketball team. If you cannot attend, please find coaches Fortino or Harvey before Thursday. There's a Liturgy Imagination team meeting today after school to create the orange shirt display. Please meet in the chapel. Grade 12s can meet at 2 p.m. and everyone else will meet at 2:40 p.m. And lastly, novice girls basketball players will practice tomorrow at 2:50. Thanks from Coach Pinto. And those are all of your announcements for today, Cathedral. Have a great day, Gales, and thanks for watching.